What's up, y'all? This is Ebony Sherry TV podcast, and I'm live over here, and I'm also recording over here. I got my mic, and I got my little lapel mic. So, you guys, I hope you hearing me. Okay. If you guys do not catch the live, I'm going to make it private so that tomorrow when my podcast comes out, um, people will be able to tune in, either stream it on the podcast platform or watch it live or watch the recording live. So today we're going to talk about pet peeves, and you can see that as the title. And pet peeves, I really feel like people hate when other people do these things, but they are the ones that do these things that they're talking about. And when I say they, I'm also talking about myself as well, because I realize that the thing that I hate the most that other people do is the very thing that I do myself. And I realized that by paying attention to myself and really being aware of the things that I do. So, being that I really pay attention to what I'm doing, because I'm really trying to work on myself as an individual to be a better person. And in order to do that, I have to take accountability for some things that I do. So I feel like it was very necessary for me to talk about pet peeves, because this is what most people hate. And I've been writing like a lot of topics that I'm going to talk about, that I know that for sure I'm going to talk about. But this one in particular was like really on my mind heavy. So I decided to make season 2, episode 1, pet peeves. And it's something that I hate, but I do also. So the first one that I put in the description, and if you guys stream my podcast, you know that I put three main things that I like to talk about in my description, so you guys are aware and you know exactly what I'm talking about. So the first thing is practice what you preach. Okay. And I mean, like, when people say y'all girls and they really be talking about you, who is y'all girls? And that kind of ties in with my bonus one, which is stand 10 toes down on whatever it is that you're saying, whatever it is that you mean, whatever it is that you're talking about, preaching about. Stand 10 toes down. I believe that I'm not like the type of person to go around preaching to everybody. I don't believe in preaching to everybody about everything. And I know that I'm live and my kids are here. My baby boy, of course, is gonna always come interrupt. What's up? Go back upstairs. Go ahead.
Apple's going to keep making with me.
Go ahead. I'm coming up there. Here, you can take the phone. I do have my phone if you guys do message me. So, if you text me, I will respond as quickly as I can to the messages. But right now, so my son won't interrupt me while I'm recording, I let him get it, okay? But practice what you preach. Like I was saying, I'm not the type of person to go around preaching to everybody. I feel like it's not necessary for me to go preaching to everybody, because sometimes I make flaws. I err. I'm not perfect, and I know that I'm not perfect. So when I'm conversating with people and I'm having a conversation with particular people, like about anything, when I'm having a conversation in particular, I'm sorry about the background noise, but when I'm having a conversation with people, I try to open their minds up into thinking about things instead of telling them what they should and should not do. That is my pet peeve, for people to tell people what they should and should not do. That is something that irks my soul, is that people are always telling you what you should and should not do when they wouldn't listen to someone that's giving them great advice, excellent advice about things that will benefit them in the long run. But then they turn around and don't listen to the advice, but want to turn around and give somebody else advice and tell them what they should do. Why? Why are you giving advice that you're giving advice on situations and issues in people's lives and telling them specifically this is what you should do? But if you was in that situation, you wouldn't do it. You wouldn't do. You wouldn't listen. So I'm quite sure, like, since the PPP loan is the topic and what everybody is talking about, you know, was there some advice that someone gave you that told you you shouldn't do it and you did it anyways? Think about things like that, like advice that people give you and tell you what you should and shouldn't do, or tell you, they feel like you shouldn't go down that route, or give you an example just in case you go down that route, what could possibly happen. That's the type of like preaching I would say I do particular myself. I basically say there is no right or wrong in a situation, okay? So there's no right way, there's no wrong way, but understand that the way that you do something, the way that you choose to go about things, understand whatever comes with that issue, you have to be accountable for whatever may happen. Now let's talk about I'm just giving you guys an example of practice what you preach. So cheating, that seems to be the thing, and I'm not exempt from it. I'm not perfect. I've done my wrong. So who am I to tell somebody, oh, you shouldn't do that, you shouldn't mess up this, and you shouldn't do this, and you shouldn't do that? I wouldn't, like, I don't see myself in particularly telling you you shouldn't do something. I would get you to really like talk it out, understand what it is that you did, and according to how your situation going, how it is, what's going on, the person, whether you feel like it's worth staying, not staying, if you believe that you can trust that person again, if you feel like you're capable of forgiving and moving past the situation. Those are the type of things that I would try to break down and talk out with you. I wouldn't necessarily say you should not do this, you shouldn't do that. For what? Like, I'm literally trying to practice exactly what I'm preaching to people. I wouldn't necessarily say preaching, because I don't try to go around telling people what they should and should not do. I that's not something that I feel is necessary to do, because we all live life. What type of life I live and believe is right for me may not be right for you. What path you decide to go down may not be the path that's what's best for me. So I in particular will not try to tell somebody to do something and what they should do, and always telling them and knowing doggone well I'm not practicing anything that I'm telling you. And specifically, if I'm saying y'all and I'm really meaning to tell you, I'm going to say you, I'm going to say your name, I'm going to point you out, because you're the one that I'm talking to, you're the one that I'm trying to get a message through, or try to get an understanding from. Like, you're trying to get an understanding from me, and I'm trying to get an understanding from you. So why would I be like, y'all people do this, they do that? Why you can't, as grown people and as adults, you should be okay with saying something to someone, and if someone does not accept what you say, you should be all right with letting that conversation go and moving on as a mature person. Understanding that there are some people that does not have that maturity muscle within them to understand that, okay, people don't want to talk. In particular, I don't have no one in particular that I'm talking about, but understanding that specifically, that person doesn't want to talk about it right now, and I can't make them talk about it right now. I can't force them to have a conversation about that specific thing. So I'm gonna let it go, and whenever they're ready, or if they feel like they want to come talk to me, okay, then we can have that conversation. If not, let it go. It's a lot of people who's always trying to preach and push things down people's throat, or force people to understand where they're coming from and change their mind about how they feel as a person. That's how they feel. You can't change somebody and how they feel inside about any situation in their life. They have to figure that part out. And that's what I mean about practicing what you preach, and then being in particular in who you talking to. Like if you're having a conversation with me, say you know, we're talking, we're grown people. And if that's not something that I want to talk about, okay, understood. You know, understand that that's something that I don't want to talk about right now. So we'll talk about that later. You know, it's just all about like understanding and being direct in the message that you're trying to explain or talk to somebody about, because that's where confusion comes. You're saying y'all, and you know how people, the telephone game, how people hear a message one way and then transfer it differently. Be particular, be specific about what you're talking about to that person. Make sure they know that you're talking about them and not nobody else. Because you know, indirect messages can mean you're talking about anybody, basically, and like people say, it's indirect. So it's not respected. So the second thing that I want to talk about is um a liar. A liar. A liar. A liar. A liar. And what I've noticed about myself is that I really, really, really hate a liar. Like, I can't stand people that lie, but I can accept the fact that you are a liar, but just know that you lied to me. you I don't exempt myself from it. And the reason why I say I don't exempt myself from a liar is because I find myself telling little lies, like about dumb stuff, you know. Specifically, like if I tell my mom that I'm coming over today and I don't show up, I basically lied. But I'm talking about like people that say they're going to do something and don't follow through with what they say. People that tell you something and really it doesn't align with their actions. Like, I cannot stand that. That is my ultra major pet peeve of all. But I realize in my lifetime that I have told a lie about little things, like little things. And this is something that I need you guys to tune in about, because a lot of people feel like when they don't really necessarily talk about something, it's not considered a lie. So do you guys agree with that or disagree with that? That if someone asks you something and you just don't talk about it, it's not necessarily lying, but you know, what is it? What is it? Like, it's just disregarding it, or you know, you just, I don't know. I don't know. I personally don't think it's a lie, but I feel like it's like you're avoiding telling me something that you can just be honest about. But then again, how I look at that and understand, you know, put into understanding about that is that, you know, if it's something that you don't want to talk about, you don't have to necessarily. But this is my opinion. If I've asked you about something more than once and you decide that you don't want to talk about it, that's absolutely cool. But how I'm going to handle it is like, you know, with a long handle spoon, as my mother used to say, feed them with a long handle spoon. Because at this point, it's like we can't have a conversation about something that's concerning me or that I need to find out something about or want to know more details about, and you're just not saying nothing to me. So I don't know. I don't know. But I wouldn't think it's a lie. I would just think you're trying to cover something up and you're just not wanting to talk about it, and that's absolutely fine. But for me, it's like, okay, yeah. So I'll leave that there. I'll leave that there. Okay. But that's another pet peeve of mine that I feel like, we're all grown people. We're grown people. What is the need for you to lie? I feel like a person that lies personally is trying to protect something for their own personal sake. And when I think about that and I really like put thought into that, by me just, telling my mom, like, I'm gonna come do that. But I have every intention of coming over to her house, doing whatever it is that she asked me to do, but I don't make it. And I'm necessarily not really telling her that I'm not gonna make it, because I don't ever call her and tell her I'm not gonna make it. Um, I didn't end up being honest with her over the phone and tell her, today I didn't make it because I wasn't feeling good or whatever the situation may be. And maybe that day I was not feeling good, I wasn't feeling the best of best. I wasn't feeling myself. And, or I could have just, been in school and school went over a little longer, and then dealing with my children, that may have been like, you know, took up so much of my energy to the point where I just did not feel like going. So,
Hey, mommy.
yes, baby. Mommy's still streaming. So go back up there, okay? I'm gonna come get you. And I'm sorry, y'all. I do apologize. And I'm gonna make sure that when I do my, my lives, that I got, my baby situated and stuff, because, you know. But this is what you get when you live, and it's all out there. But back to what I was saying. When I do tell my mom, I'm coming that day, I have all intentions of coming. It's just stuff happens, but I take accountability, and I will say that I can push myself to do what it is that I say I'm going to do. But with my mom being of age, I don't want to, like, do things so late to the point where, she's of age. So she needs her rest. She needs, you know, needs to be getting what she got to get done at a decent time. So I do take into consideration of that, being that my mom is of age. And I respect that, she doesn't like to do things so late. And I'm like an afternoon type of person, because everything in the morning while my kids is at school, I try to get done, over here, and I don't make it to her until the afternoon. So I wouldn't say, I say it becomes a lot when I don't fulfill what it is that I said that I was going to do. But when I do speak to her, I be truthful and honest about why I didn't make it to her, you know. But that is a major pet peeve of mine, and I'm learning how to practice, how to really state things, particularly to a person. So if I'm telling my mom, all right, I'm gonna make it to your house tomorrow, but if I don't make it, then I will try to make it a day when I'm available to come over a little bit earlier. But I don't want to tell you a lie that I'm going to come and I don't come. But she pretty much know by now, like, if I tell her that I'm coming and I don't say, I'm not going to come, she pretty much know, like, she maybe she's not coming. But she does call and we have that conversation. But I can't stand people lying to me, because I feel like a lot of people think that I am a liar or a sneaky type of person. And like I said, when you take accountability, you do I reevaluate myself and I check myself and I see, okay, people think this way. Why is that? Why is it that they think this way? So I'm constantly checking myself on, okay, is it something that I'm doing that's making people think that I'm like this? Is it something that I'm like putting forth the vibe, the energy? What is it that I'm doing? Because if you want to know something about me, I will tell you. I don't have no reason to hide anything, lie about anything, even if it's gonna cause me to get my ass whooped or whatever. Whatever. That's how I feel. Excuse for the language, but that's how I feel. Like, I feel, and I've made a vow to myself, to be honest, completely honest to people. And I feel like because I'm so honest that people do not accept my honesty, and they always think like, I might be doing something shady. But I try to like consistently evaluate myself and make sure that I'm not coming off shysty or devious or deceiving, because I keep getting these things from people, deceit and lies and dishonest and all these things, and I'm trying to figure out why. Why is that? Why am I getting these things? But as I evaluate myself and look at things, I get deeper into, why things may be reoccurring over and over and over. So that's a whole nother podcast. That's just a whole nother podcast itself. And then, like I said, I thought I wrote 3, but I'm not sure if I wrote 3. Okay, but I know for sure the last one particularly was standing 10 toes down on what it is that you mean. That's a pet peeve of mine. Like, there's a lot of people that fold and shake and bend due to the fact that if they say something and according to who it is, they do not stay firm to what it is that they say. If you say you don't like something to me, I'm expecting you not to like that something when you go around other people. You said you didn't like it, so why is you switching up for other people? That's what I don't understand about some people, and some people don't even know that they are doing that. They don't know that they're doing that. So if you say something, stand firm on what you say. Don't change up, switch up for nobody. That's a pet peeve of mine, and I don't think that I don't think that I do that, but it is a strong pet peeve of mine that people switch up a lot. People tend to switch up a lot. A lot. They don't stand 10 toes down on what they say. That's some people. Not all people that I've encountered with. If they say something, they stick to it. Some people, I don't know what it is. I don't understand what it is. And I understand that, some things change and all that stuff. But if you shouting this out, you shouting whatever it is out for like 5, 6, 7 days in a row, and then next week come and you're switching up. What is it? What was it? What made you switch? Please tell me what it was. What was it? I need to know. I don't. That is a major pet peeve of mine too. Stand 10 toes down on what it is that you say. If you say something, mean what you say and say what you mean. Don't switch up. Now I understand, if it's a life or death situation, which some people would feel like if it is something that they truly rock or stand firm for or represent or whatever it is, they're going to stand on that regardless. Regardless. just know that, if you're undecided, what I got to say about that is, if you're undecided about that thing that you so hard preaching about, teaching about, saying about constantly over and over, and then something else comes about and you switching up, then say you're unsure. You don't know how you really feel about it. Don't make a precise answer on something and then you have to switch or change up what it is that you say. And I feel like maybe I have possibly done that sometime in my life, but that's something I don't like. And I know I may have done or did, but I'm learning that if I say something, to stand firm on what it is that I say and don't switch. That's just what it is. I feel like if you really stand for something, if you really believe in something, and you really wholeheartedly is for it, about it, whatever it is, stand firm on that. Okay? And those are the three things that I wanted to talk about to you guys on Pet Peeve today. I appreciate you all so much for the support of my podcast, season 1. You guys have showed out. I've got over a hundred streams for my podcast. I'm sorry, my podcast. I got over 100 playbacks on my podcast. So I'm grateful. I mean, just to say that I started out in May of last year and got over 100 playbacks is like good, and it's all over the country. So I do appreciate you guys who have been streaming and playing back. It means a lot to me. It means so much to me, and the support you guys are giving, I really appreciate it. So yes, I'm so happy and I'm so excited that season 2 is here, and we got episode 1 done and up. And I will catch you guys in episode 2 on season 2 of Ebony Sherry TV.